What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of A Gentle Reminder by me, Ashley Escobar. So today, I don't really have a plan for what I'm going to talk about. I was just kind of hoping that as soon as I sat in front of the camera and sat down to record this podcast episode, I would just kind of go with the flow, because that has very much been the theme of my life lately, going with the flow. I have found myself in a lot of these situations where, unfortunately, I have done everything that I can. I have set boundaries, I have communicated my feelings, I have communicated where I see things going, and it's at the point where I just have lost all control or have no control over the situation anymore, and I just kind of have to accept it. And acceptance is a very, very difficult thing to have to come to terms with, especially when we're talking about acceptance in regards to situations that you're not necessarily over with or you don't want to see end. I have very much just been in a weird kind of funk lately. Specifically, mostly because I'm feeling very much lost. I just don't have any motivation to really want to talk to anybody, to want to see anybody, to want to do anything other than sleep. Sleeping has been my main priority right now. If I'm not sleeping, I'm either at work or class, and that's been my life. Not sure how I necessarily feel about that, considering it is summertime and I should be probably going out and doing a lot more, but I'm just in one of those moods. Yesterday I had worked a 16-hour day, and 11:30 came around and I wasn't tired. I seriously contemplated calling down to staffing and asking if I could stay till 3 a.m. to have a total of a 20-hour workday. Absurd, I know. I ended up not staying. I ended up leaving at 11:30 and going home to sleep, considering I had been at work since 7 a.m. that morning. But then I just kind of found myself going down the rabbit hole of being on social media, because I was already feeling like shit, so obviously social media was going to make me feel better. So I did that. Completely regret it now, just considering the headspace it had put me in last night and the headspace it had carried over into me being in today. But specifically, I fell down the rabbit hole of a current TikTok trend that is a compilation of quotes that broke me. That's the trend right now, and then who the TikToker will post a series of quotes or a series of things that have been said, and it's just supposed to be sharing of experiences, sharing of quotes to help people throughout what they may be going through, stuff like that. But I found myself going down and being stuck on a loop of just those videos for hours last night after I got home from work and I showered and I did my whole nightly routine, but I just couldn't fall asleep. I ended up just sobbing over some of these quotes because, I just related to them so much. And I related to them mostly because I think that I am just a person who has seen a lot of struggle and has seen a lot of shit, quite honestly. I will not lie when I say that I am constantly finding myself in these shitty situations. Whether it be people or places, it has been quite an interesting last 6 months of my life. Now that we're in June and it's 2023, and I'm just kind of looking back on how far I've come, but also how far behind I feel. And I think that is the biggest theme of your 20s. Everyone always says these are the years where you're supposed to live and you're supposed to learn. And I'm seeing that now. I've never seen it more clearly, other than your 20s are for feeling absolutely lost. Absolutely fucking lost. Because that's how I feel. I don't know what I'm doing. I like to act like I know what I'm doing, but quite frankly, I'm scared. I don't know what's in store for me, and as someone who feels like I always need to have control of every little aspect, of every little detail in my life, it's very hard to cope with not having that accessibility, with not having that ability to have control over these situations, to navigate them, to move them to work in my favor. Because right now I've just been in positions where I have to just accept things for what they are. I have to. And one of the quotes that stuck with me last night, in particular, as part of this TikTok trend, was as follows: I was just a girl swallowing a woman's grief. And I have no idea why that stuck to me the way that it did. But it has me kind of like mind fucked after reading that. Because I sat back and I just started reflecting on everything. Obviously, I'm a woman. Obviously, I'm no longer a little girl who has no worries, no responsibilities. I know I'm a woman. I am 20 years old, almost 21 years old. I have responsibilities, whether that's my job, my homework that has to get done, school that I'm currently enrolled in. Like, I know I'm a woman. But that quote hit me. And it's like suddenly I was 8-year-old Ashley again. Just feeling so lost. Thinking that if I could rush my childhood, if I could rush to those years of being the older version of myself, I would be okay. That I would have everything figured out. There would be no worries. There would be no struggle. I would be happy. And it just kind of hit me this morning that, like, wow. The younger version of myself really thought I would have it together by now. And in some weird way, I'm happy that I don't. I'm happy that I don't have things together right now. And you may be wondering why. Why would you say that? Because obviously the ultimate goal is having everything together, having your life in check, and working out in your favor. But I think really what people forget to mention is that you're never going to have that control over your life. Things are never going to be 100% going your way. And I think the earlier we get that mindset and get that idea into our head, the easier it is to kind of navigate through issues. I have always been one to believe that, you don't get thrown situations and don't get thrown struggles that you cannot handle. And I hated hearing that growing up, because as a child, to me, your only responsibilities and worries should be, like, what am I going to wear tomorrow? It shouldn't be, why does nobody love me? And why is nobody here to support me and care for me? And although I have a loving family that has been by my side through it all, I was one of those kids that grew up that way. I grew up always just feeling different from everybody else, always just knowing I was different from everybody else as well. Those are two very different things. Let me explain why. There's a difference between feeling like you are different from everybody else, but knowing you are different from everybody else. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Because I have always felt and known that I was different. Because I'm not like everybody else my age. Everybody else my age loves to go out and get messed up and party and not really work towards a future. But I was one of those people that grew up fast. I grew up not only taking care of myself, but taking care of others, which is why I feel like I gravitate so much to wanting to work in the healthcare field. It has just always occurred naturally to me to want to be a people pleaser, unfortunately, but mostly to want to help others and to be compassionate and to be empathetic. That I've just always grown up knowing that those were values that really have always stuck with me. But in turn, it's led me to be living this life right now where there was never really a strong foundation for me to work off of, if that makes any sense. Like, I didn't have the childhood that I think any other child would have deserved, which is why I feel like right now in my 20s I just feel so out of control, because I haven't really lived life. I haven't really even lived a childhood. So, yeah, now that I've had that tangent, sorry, that was a little rant, but if you haven't picked up on it, I'm just lost. I'm very lost. And if you can relate with that, which I'm sure many people my age can. I hope many people my age can, because I don't know, I might feel a little weird if you guys can't. I'm kidding. But I have found a lot of comfort in being lost right now. Mostly because that means, you know, like, the situations and the circumstance that I'm in right now aren't set in stone. Like, I have every ability to wake up tomorrow and decide that I don't want to keep living like this. And I probably will, because that happens to be the trend when I have days like this where I'm just very consumed in my grief and very consumed in my emotions. The next day I just kind of like wake up and I decide, you know, like, I don't want to keep living a life where I'm deteriorating right in front of my eyes. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, come on now, like, you're better than this. And I think the most difficult thing I've ever had to overcome in my life, aside from the breakup that I had gone through and continues to be a struggle for me every day, is wanting to live again and not wanting to deteriorate. To look at myself in the mirror and be proud of the person I'm becoming and be proud of the progress that I've made. Because don't get me wrong, I am. And let me tell you, trying to rush through all of the emotions and trying to rush through the healing process is only going to delay it even more. You have to feel it. You have to go through it. And if anyone is going to understand the pain and turmoil that it takes to really, really force yourself to feel the feelings and allow yourself to go through it, even though, of course, like, it is probably one of the most painful things that you or someone you may know may be going through, offer them the comfort and offer them this. Would you rather take the time now to properly heal and feel, or would you rather it continue to be something that you're always going to struggle with for the rest of your life? Because that's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. The more you choose to avoid, and the more you choose to act like nothing is going on, like the feelings aren't bothering you, like there is no healing that obviously needs to be done, the longer it's going to take for you to reach your full fulfillment in life. So why delay the process? Why delay becoming the best, most perfect version of yourself by choosing not to heal and to feel? My biggest thing here, the point that I'm trying to make is, you have to choose you. You have to realize that in this world, in this selfish society, be selfish enough to choose you. Because you will always come first. Your health, whether that be physical or mental, your successes, what you desire of this world, you will always come first, not anybody else. So stop worrying about the friends, stop worrying about the exes, stop worrying about whatever it may be you're worrying about, and throw that energy into yourself. Care and love about yourself so much that you are your main and only concern, because that's what it should be. That is what it should be. And this is coming from someone who never did that. And when I made that switch to finally doing that, which I know it sounds super cocky and super selfish to just be like, essentially, like, I know it sounds like I'm essentially telling you to just be so full of yourself, but there's no other better words to describe it other than, like, you need to be so full of yourself. You need to care and love about yourself so much that you take the necessary steps to be a better version of yourself. because nobody's going to do it for you. If you're sitting here waiting, watching, listening to this, thinking that someone's going to knock on your door and hold you by the hand and drag you through this process and help you heal and help you feel all the emotions that you may be feeling, no one's going to fucking do it. You have to choose to want to live again. You have to choose to not want to sit and deteriorate. At the end of the day, you have the power. You are the most important person that you are ever going to come across in your life. Because without you, you are the core. You can't focus on flourishing other relationships or friendships or focusing on creating your career or whatever it may be, a family for God's sake, if you don't even care about yourself. You'll always hear that come from me. You are the most important person in this world. And nobody comes above you. Love yourself. Care about yourself. Nurture yourself. Be so full of yourself in the most positive way that the little inconveniences in life no longer take such a big mental or physical toll on you. There are things in life that, of course, you're just never going to be able to control. But there are things you can control. One of them being how you choose to live your life. Because no one is sitting there and telling you how to do it. Every day you wake up and the choices you make because you have that control to make those choices. It could be something as stupid as waking up and brushing your teeth. Bam. You woke up and decided to take care of yourself. Because dental health is important. And make sure you go to the dentist twice a year. Period. Anyways, moral of the story is, we are entering a new era in your homegirl's life of being so obsessed with myself and so obsessed with just living and wanting to live and wanting to be better and not wanting to feel like I want to die every second of my life. And yeah, I think it's important for people to just be real about that, because there are not enough people that are real about it. I just want it to be known that I'm never going to be one of those people that come on every week and lie to you and act like I'm okay when I'm not. Because I'm sitting here and I'm telling you I'm not. But I'm also sitting here and telling you that I have a plan, that I don't want to continue to feel this way. So here are the steps that I'm going to take to ensure that I'm not allowing myself to sulk and deteriorate anymore. That is the picture that I'm trying to paint for you guys. And that is the lesson that I hope you guys can take away from this episode this week. The big things being, you cannot delay the process. You cannot put a hold on the process, because no matter how much you try to avoid it, it's going to be worse. The longer it's going to linger, the longer it's going to be harder to get over. Care about yourself enough, love yourself enough to want to be a better person, to want to be a better version of yourself, and I promise you, everything will fall into place at the appropriate timing. Timing is such a stressful topic for so many people nowadays, because especially when you're entering your 20s, there's like this whole idea of how your whole life is supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to graduate on time, you're supposed to go to college for one, then graduate on time, then find a good high-paying job, then get married in time, then have kids before you get too old, and then this, and then that, and then this, and then that. From the minute you're out of the womb, everything is about timing. To the minute of walking, to the second, to that stage where you even take your first steps. Everything is so timed in our life. Be so comfortable with throwing timing out of the window, because it's not going to be the same for everyone else. Sure, Susie may be 21 and she already be married and has a child or is pregnant, but I am going to be 21, and having a family and marriage and even dating is the last thing on my mind. So again, throw timing out of the window. Of course, there's going to be situations where timing is important and you need to obviously focus on it. But for right now, in this situation that I'm trying to paint, throw it out the window and realize that things will fall into place when your life is ready to handle it. Don't rush, and love yourself. So, I guess I kind of like just sitting in front of the camera and saying whatever, because I'm loving this episode. It may be a little bit all over the place, but you get used to it because I'm not Ashley without being all over the place. And you'll get to learn that. And I hope that throughout this podcast journey of revamping and finally getting back into the swing of posting again and recording again, I really hope you guys get to see this version of myself, because I sit back and I think about who I was even just 6 months ago and who I am now, and I see the drastic change. And that's what I really think made me so appealed to wanting to start a podcast, mostly because it's like a measurement of my own personal growth. And I not only get to see it, but also so many of the people that I love so much get to tune in and see it as well. And that is one of the most fulfilling and one of the best feelings I have ever felt in a really long time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another week on another episode. I hope you guys can really read into the message that I was trying to give this week. Again, I know it's all over the place, but what was said, and I hope you picked up on it. Stay safe. I love you guys so much. I hope everybody has a happy holiday weekend. Happy 4th of July. Again, be safe, make smart decisions, and I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to another week of A Gentle Reminder by me, Ashley Escobar. Bye, guys.